Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, Indiana wants to grow one of its largest and most important industries, one that's literally in its backyard, and that is hardwoods. State officials rolled out a new strategy this week to expand and attract new wood processing facilities and also strengthen the sector, which is valued at a whopping $10 billion annually. For more on how the state plans to make that happen, let's turn now to Indiana State Department of Agriculture Director Bruce Kettler. And Bruce, as always, welcome to the program.
Thank you. My pleasure.
To tee this up, and I mentioned $10 billion, a lot of people probably have no idea that the hardwoods industry is so huge in the state.
That's right. I think most folks in Indiana wouldn't recognize how large it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's $10 billion, about 70,000 jobs directly attributable to that, and then you start to get into other jobs that work, kind of on the sidelines. It's a huge industry for our state, one that flies under the radar very often.
And you talk about 70,000 jobs. I think it's important to note those jobs pay well above the state average.
They do. The strategy and the work that we did on this strategy found that about $66,000 is the average wage in the industry, which is about 20% higher than Indiana's average wage.
So there's a real opportunity in growing the sector. Okay, the strategic plan, you unveiled it this week. What are the goals there? How are you going to roll it out?
Yeah, so I think a couple of key things we want to work on with the strategy that we've identified. First, business development. How can we help the businesses that are here, and there are a lot of them, many of them very small businesses, how can we help them grow and expand and provide a product that they can use? And then, of course, if we need to attract new businesses into Indiana to help take care of the wood that we have here, that's what we want to do as well. Secondly is an education component. Educating people on the importance of the industry, the sustainability of the product that we have, educating people on the jobs that are available, getting young people interested in the sector and knowing that there are good jobs. We mentioned the pay, but there are good jobs in the sector as well. And then last is marketing. How do we market the industry? How do we figure out where we can add value to the timber that we have here? We're exporting logs out of the state of Indiana. My objective and part of what we want to do with the strategy, how can we add value here, because that means jobs?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to point out too, Indiana #1 in things like cabinets and those types of products. It's not just in the video we showed there, a lot of it was southern Indiana, and there's a big presence there, but this really is a statewide industry.
It really is. It surprised me as I came into my role to learn more about the hardwoods industry all over the state. And certainly when we think of the forest and timberlands, you drive through southern Indiana, you see it. But if you drive through northern Indiana and start to look at the timberland, the woods that farmers have, a lot of families have yet, there is a lot there. And so we've looked at a map, and it's all over, and northern Indiana has a really good sector as well.
What's the potential here? Because obviously there are a lot of assets, as you've pointed out, a lot of things that exist here, a lot of impact already. As you look at this strategy, and if it goes as you hope it will go, what's the potential?
Oh, I think it's tremendous potential. There's a lot of things that we found in the strategy that were surprising to me to a degree. But when we think about the potential for jobs, again, for good paying jobs, for keeping young people close to home, most of this is in very rural areas of Indiana, and we're always looking for ways to keep those folks there. So I think the potential for jobs is great. Again, adding value to our logs that we have. We have some of the best quality hardwoods in the country, and a lot of that has to do with our soils and our climate. So let's find a way, while we've got really, really good quality wood, let's find a way to make sure that we're adding value and more value to it, and maybe looking at new uses. So one of the things that we hope to do is to find ways that maybe there's new uses for wood that we haven't even thought of yet.
Big project, big initiative in terms of hardwoods in Indiana. Bruce Kettler is the director of the Indiana State Department of Ag. Will be following the story. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks, Gary.